I've been out going over some tactical videos and stuff like that, and taking some advice on packing bags, and was realizing, a lot of people years ago, when I was still in the military, the transition over to these hydration bladder kits was gradual. I was one of the first guys to get into these things. This is one of the early ones, bought at the PX. I forget the name of the brand. It wasn't even Camelback. I've replaced the bladder in it twice. That's how long ago I've been into this stuff. And in my survival preps, I actually went back to canteens on a lot of stuff. And I went back to carrying water bottles, because one of the things I ran into, especially with doing a lot of desert training, okay, and running and gunning in the dirt, and then for a while I was a track vehicle driver, is when we get into that stuff, okay, these mouthpieces get all dirty, filthy, and fucked up. And there's some newer models which are really complex, like you flip the little thing open and you push it backwards and you do all this stuff, and it's supposed to keep it clean, and for some reason shit still gets in there. And what I figured out was, well, every time I wanted to take a drink, I was putting my mouth on something nasty, and that really sucks. And I don't know if you guys saw my last, the videos on a big outdoor adventure, but I was going out to visit some friends out in eastern Oregon in the mountains where it was snowing already. And I was doing a food delivery and a supply delivery. I had a big chub of ground beef I was taking with me, like one of those great big giant hot dog looking things that's like 20 pounds or something. 5 pounds maybe, 5 pounds. But anyway, so what happened with that thing is it was frozen when I went, and then I had to leave the truck on the side of a trail for a couple of days, hike in, went back on a snowmobile to start getting supplies back and forth, and then finally was able to get the truck back in. But and all the food was fine because it was so cold out. Well, the meat had thawed, and it was in a package, but the package still bled. And lo and behold, I get out and I start smelling. The truck was kind of nasty smelling, and then it got worse, and I thought maybe there was a dead animal in there. And I realized it was a spot of blood in the carpet that had gone rotten when I got back to the warmer climate. And, it's been hell to clean that stuff out of there. Believe me, I've wet vacked and steam vacked the hell out of that interior. And one of the things that happened is this little mini bug out bag that I kept in there with a hydration pack, the mouthpiece had been dragging into that. And I thought, oh, shit. Well, how do you sterilize that thing? Some people talk about boiling water and sterilization fluid and other stuff. And I put boiling water on this, and I still wasn't sure. And I was like, man, you don't want to poison yourself getting this stuff. So you want to circulate something through there that kills bacteria and shit, right? And there is an age-old substance that has been used for sterilizing stuff ever since the Civil War, okay? And drum roll, please, okay? Because this is one of the best sterilizing substances you can get for survival preps, especially around you're going to be, food. Bingo, right? Alcohol, grain alcohol. In fact, it's one of the good reasons they have a moonshine still, if you can put one together. Now, I'll tell you something. One reason I stock this stuff with my survival stuff, because I hate drinking it. I mean, this is nasty, nasty shit. In fact, I can't even find mixed drink stuff I like to put it in. I mean, if I feel like having a drink, and I know I shouldn't be drinking at that particular time, I'll hit some of this, and it's so fucking nasty I won't drink for a few days. I mean, it's really bad stuff. But, you can kind of force it down. And it is drinkable. And if you use isopropyl alcohol, that can actually poison you. That stuff can mess you up. So you want to have consumable alcohol, and you simply open this thing up, make sure the alcohol gets kind of in there, okay, make sure it's all clean, and you may want to throw that away afterwards. You may put it in the mixed drink. Here's the other thing it's really good for, and you can refilter it too. But the other thing it's really good for is preserving food. So berries or anything that's not, you're not sure of the refrigeration. You can use this for preserving some food for a while simply by adding the alcohol. Alcohol kills off a bunch of little bugs and bacteria, and it works for that. And you know, pretty much anything that would have gotten a little nasty with that stuff, I know it's going to be clean. And you know, I hate to bring it up, man, but if you're in a vehicle that gets hit by an ambush or landmine or something, you know, your gear can, you know, get blood and shit on there that's not hamburger blood, okay? And you got to have ways of cleaning that stuff up if you're going to salvage it. And that's the other reason for the alcohol is, you know, you want to make sure anything that you're consuming, just because you're out in the boonies and you're out in the dirt and out in the mud, you want to be able to clean this stuff. And I find that the alcohol soaking method, it works pretty well. I mean, it's everything is going to be pretty well sterilized in there. You want to use the purest alcohol you can get, preferably not something with extra flavoring, preferably something not with extra sugars that bugs will just start going after too, or they get sticky and dust and dirt starts getting on anyway. Now, as far as the inside, there's detergents and stuff you can use for these bladders, but I gotta say this, have spares and just replace them every once in a while. If that bladder is so nasty you really think you gotta scrub it out, replace the thing. Okay, time for a new one. You can get Asian made ones that aren't very expensive. You know, you may not want to go with the exact same name brand. The one that originally came with this pouch had a big Ziploc opening, like you'd undo the Ziploc and open it, and it would burst open on me. I got sick of it. And I just got some of these, I think from an outfit called Tac Force. Just replace the bladders. Yeah, there are ways you can wash them. The problem is you never get the detergent out of it. But alcohol, the purest stuff you can get, I'm finding really helps. And even if you add just a tiny little bit of this to the water, no, it's not going to get you drunk and mess you up in a field. But if you're leaving these loaded for periods of time, I'd rather have a little tiny little bit of alcohol in the water than bleach. Okay, bleach isn't good for you. You know, and that's something to consider too, because the bleach, not all that great. The alcohol works. The other little aspect I just want to get into, because we're talking about sterilizing your bags, the water bladder stuff on the inside, sterilizing with a little bit of alcohol so that it doesn't go bad. And I'm talking just small amounts, no more of this Everclear than you would put some bleach in with one of these things, because the bleach is not all that healthy for you at all. And as much as somebody wants to say it's against their religion to have the alcohol, it's just not going to mess you up as much as the bleach will. And it's as good or better for killing off, you know, any of the common stuff that you would expect to find in there. It will add some, it will possibly add a little bit of flavor. The other thing is, you get that drinking tube, feed it back into the bag, because as this thing's getting bounced around in other gear, you want to make sure that gets fed back into the bag. The other thing is, make absolutely certain, depending on how these things go, is, you know, make absolutely certain that however that thing goes, whether it's a push in or push out, you've got the water turned off. So I would feed this back in. This particular pouch has extra room in it, so we're going to put a little food in there. And, you know, maybe this is mainly kind of like the Go food lunch bag thing. Not much else goes into that. You can see this is even before they had Molly gear. It's kind of like an Alice Pack webbing on there. But yeah, feed the tube back in. Don't let it dangle when you keep this, especially around other stuff. I keep this in my truck and got to worry about muddy old tools and rusty stuff that you really just don't want to be sucking on when you're having a drink of water. Make sure you keep the tube stowed when this thing isn't in use. Another thing to look out for, sterilizing your food gear, your prep food gear, bug out stuff. This bag doubles as a lunch bag, so I'll carry snacks in it in the truck. You might have noticed I'm kind of a heavy set guy and I like food anyway, but hey, you got to fatten up before times get lean, right? So on MRE spoons, which a lot of people like to keep as kind of like a souvenir item from the last MRE they ate, or from the military or something like that, or you know, some guy's got a lucky Lexan spoon or whatever. You got to realize that there's shit which can embed in that plastic, which stays there forever. This is supposedly like top dog for camping stuff. It's titanium. So it's a sheet titanium, very lightweight, weighs next to nothing. It's a sport. The thing I don't like about it is somebody put an anodized type coating on this, and so it's not a smooth surface, right? It's all like non-reflective camouflage spoon. But I keep getting afraid that maybe, you know, anything that's not really shiny is something that bacteria could embed in. And so I get a little worried about that, and I pull it out and I wash it every once in a while. Although in the field, you know, the best you can do is wipe it off. But it's titanium, right? It's one of the hardest substances known to man that we can make metal out of. There is a better way to go, which is old style silver or even silver plated, because that's antibacterial to begin with. It's just, I don't think anyone's doing it yet. But if anybody out there was able to make these titanium sporks and then silver plate them, yeah, they'd be expensive, but it'd be pretty cool to have. In the meantime, what you have is sometimes there's little food containers inside of one of these things. You have to take it out, wash it. Make sure that, like a little meat thing like this is made not to need refrigeration. It's only $1 from the dollar store. But the cool part is it doesn't need refrigeration, right? I don't know what I'd say about the expiration date, 2/5/13. So it's not real long expiration dates. You got to replace it every once in a while. You know, canned stuff, you can go a little longer on it, but what the cool thing is, a lot of food nowadays has the expiration dates right on it. But you want to keep an eye on for sterilizing anything, making sure nothing got punctured in there, so that when you have the food bag ready to go. And this is basically part of a multi-layer bug out bag system that I have for my vehicle, because a lot of times the main bug out bag doesn't stay there. And so by picking up a series of additional bags, I can decide what I'm going to roll with, depending on what, you know, whether or not I'm going to leave the vehicle or not leave the vehicle. So this whole thing is basically a sustainment bag. It's food and water, and food and water for, you know, one day of comfortable going, maybe a couple of days of not so comfort. But remember, you got to unpack the stuff, clean it, sterilize it every once in a while. Can't keep a bottle of Everclear in the go bag. Okay, that's just mainly a home and retreat thing. Talk to you later. The cleaning and sterilizing what you'll have in a go bag. This is what I call sustainment pouch. It's consumables. I leave it in the vehicle, very easy to get at, and you know, nothing super high value here. You know, dollar store foods. Got to watch out for the expiration dates on some of these things. Little go juice stuff. I've had pretty good luck with that. James Yeager in his videos recommends those gels, which I think are better if you can afford them. Titanium spoon, better than carrying plastic. You just go and watch out. These things are easy to lose. It's just, it feels like paper. It weighs like nothing. I don't know. Maybe it's an ego item to have camouflage stuff. If you can get actual silver or silver plated, that's a better way to go. Knives, I got this old Spyderco. The thing is these things can get rust inside the serrations. And I gotta clean that one up, I think, before it lives in there for very long. I take all the belt clips and stuff off those because I want them to pack a little smaller. In fact, this thing might even spend a little time on a sander and get the handle reduced a little bit. But you know, just an eating knife, nothing majorly special in there. And so when you pack these bags, you just gotta make sure that they're all closed up, not much stuff dangling off of it. I don't do a lot of attachments, but this is part of a multi-bag system where if I'm in a vehicle and I really don't want to wear a bunch of crap, you know, I can get at it, and that's how it goes. If I've got to carry or wear the stuff, I can. It's an option that's available. I just don't want to do it. So there's a whole system of grab-and-go bags that a person can have, that some stay in a vehicle and some don't, so that when you're packing your bags, you can know that a particular bag serves a certain purpose, and they're not necessarily all attached together. But, you know, you stow it up. It basically allows me to use grocery store items to make the equivalent of like a MRE daily ration type of deal.